Hey, this is the Shitty Butler Reviews show. So, got the house to myself. Kids are at my parents' house. Got nothing better to do. I'm going to review something. Look, Apple Watch. This is the Series 7 Apple Watch. This is my first Apple Watch. This is the reason why I got the Apple Watch. Okay? This is the reason why I got the Apple Watch. Because it's all about keeping track of my kids. Okay, my daughter, when I bought this, she was 9. She's 10 now. Um, we back onto a park, so a lot of neighborhood kids come and they play in the park and stuff. So it's not like back in the day when I grew up in the 80s where I'd be up until 11 at night and my parents wouldn't know where I was and they get pissed, but whatever. So we got stuff like this to keep track of our kids. So I thought this was for her a nice piece of technology. Ooh, shiny Apple technology. Problem is, I locked it down to the point because I made a child account for her, and I locked down. You can't install apps. She doesn't know I want to sell it too, so I can make phone calls. She can make phone calls from it as well. So that way, she has it on her. I could call her, text. She's pretty good with the texting with her little finger. So when it works, it works. The problem is, I think it's my area where the cell doesn't work very good. I must be like in an area where it's not very strong. So I've had to the neighbors that she visits, I had to ask them to put their Wi-Fi on here, which is a little intrusive if you think about it. I don't even let my parents on my own Wi-Fi. I don't let anyone on my Wi-Fi. Nothing. Use your data. No one's going on my Wi-Fi. So, anyways, I wanted to try and avoid that. But that's the thing, right? But when it works, so one example was last year, or maybe 2 years ago, we had family come visit, and we all went to Canada's Wonderland. So my wife and daughter wanted to go on this new ride, but it was going to take a really long time. I didn't feel like doing that. I had to watch my younger son, my youngest, who's a son. Had to watch him. He was sleeping, so I was pushing him in the carriage and stuff like that, hoping he wouldn't wake up, so I could communicate for over a great distance, like at least a couple kilometers or more. Right? I could text and it bloop, like no, it was connections were great. It worked. I even called while they were on the ride. She answered the call on the ride. I said, "Dad, I'm just about to go on the ride." Like, okay. So in those, it's great because it's like it's not gonna come off, right? If you get one of these bands, these elastic bands, and you fit them right, they're not gonna come off, right? They're not gonna come off. Something there. It's got a cell number. It's got text. The problem is that you can't play games on or anything, and I didn't think about that. I just didn't want her fucking around with the apps, you know? So because of that, it's a boring device for her. And that's the thing that you should know. If you're going to spend $700 like I did, and plus the monthly fees for the cell, don't expect your children to just automatically love the device, because if you can't do stuff with it, like you can't take selfies, there's no camera, which is good. It would be a big mistake if Apple ever made the boneheaded move of putting cameras on Apple Watch. I wouldn't buy it. Enough is enough with the cameras. I don't need to FaceTime someone on my watch. Like, hey, how's it going? What is this? Fucking calculator watch days? Anyways. So I would say that if you're worried about your kids, where they are, we first did the little Amazon walkie-talkies. I don't know where they are. They cost me like $44. I got a pack of three, and they take regular batteries, AA batteries, 4 each, and they weren't great, but they worked, right? So the problem is, like, my daughter would I don't know, they would break or the finicky, or just the, you couldn't understand. You could hear people's talking stuff, but you don't understand it because the quality's not that good. So it was like that for about a year or two. But just like I need to know where my children are, and that's thanks to I got lost when I was around 3 years old in downtown Toronto, and I remember it. So that sticks with me. I don't want to lose my kids to this day. So you'll forgive me if I'm a little too overbearing. But I'd say this: if you're gonna go use an Apple Watch to keep track of your children, get the 3G model or the L. Still on it. Shut up! Hey Siri, shut up!
One sec.
Jesus Christ! These Apple Pods, man, these Home Pods are garbage.
For more info, check the home app.
They sound good. That's the best I could give. They sound good. That's it. Anyways, so I recommend if you really just. And the other thing that pissed me off is the schools don't allow these. So excuse me, I want to know where my children are. I want to be able to get over my children if I have to. So, no, it's a distraction. So my daughter hates this thing because you can't do nothing with it. She says it's boring. So this ended up being so don't think of it as your child's device. Think of it as your device. This is my Apple Watch. See? Oops. This is my Apple Watch. And I make my children wear it so I know where they are. And when they're done, they give it back to me and I charge it on the desk. I say it's worth to keep track if they agree to wear it when they go out with friends or whatever. Now we can keep track of them. They can text you. They can call you. Don't damage it. Don't give it to anyone. Don't get it stolen or anything. Put it on the child account. Lock down the app store so they can't download any apps. Make it purely a communication device. And even though my daughter doesn't wear it as much as I'd like, and even though, like the newer ones now, got to work better than this. Like the Series 8, this is the Series 7. This is Series 7. So, I imagine the newer ones are better, like you would think. So I'd recommend getting, this is the larger one. There's the two sizes. I got the larger one just because it's a small surface area. I felt it was worth spending the extra money to have a larger display. And then this is a carry-down device, so when my son gets old enough, he's going to get this, if it's still even supported by then. But this is me handing that. And then I'll get my daughter another. I'm only going to get my children Apple Watches. They're not going to have access to the internet. They're going to have access to cameras, text, and phone calls, and that's it. Okay? I'm not going down the rabbit hole with them about the fucking TikToks and the Instagrams and the Facebooks and the Googles and not having it. If you can afford it, it's about $5 to $15 a month for the cell. If you already have an account, which I do because I already have 2 cell phones with Bell. I think it's $5. It could be more dollars a month just to have the number. Have the number for this, and I paid about $700. It's for peace of mind. I just need that peace of mind. It's for me. It's a personal choice. If you feel like you want peace of mind, I say go for it. Now, just remember, it's your device, not your children's. Because they're going to lose it. My daughter's lost this watch. And I've let her have it. I've screamed at her for that. I've scarred her for that, probably. So I have a place on my desk charging. I just lock it down now. But if you're gonna spend the time and money, if if you could buy a phone for your kid, I would sooner buy this because they could they could make emoji, the emoticon stuff, whatever it's called, and that gets boring after a while. But my daughter was really into it at first. She made faces at everyone and stuff like that. So that's built into the OS, into the operating system. So that's something. And then I'll text her photos, but there's no storing it. It's all in the text message, so it's not really great for that. I don't know if it can have it because there's no camera. It can't have its own pictures, right? Unless it's attached to my account, which I'm not doing. Um, so yeah, that's my review of the Series 7 Apple Watch. Um, it's expensive, but when it works, it's worth the money. All I'm saying is, when the Apple Watch works, when it sends text right away, and when the phone calls are crisp, when it works, it's worth the money. Fuck off.